Okay, so I've been merrily chatting away, thinking I'm making my way through this card with you, and I didn't have the camera turned on video, I had it on photo, so now I get to start over. We're going to be using two stamp sets in making this card. One is Wondrous Wreath, and we're going to use the full wreath, the leaf, and the berries, and the bow out of this stamp set. And the other stamp set we're using is called For All Things, and this really is a fall theme. Uses the watercolor look, and it has this nice wheat spray, I guess you would call it. And we're going to use the sentiment, Hello Fall. This stamp set could be used for other things because it has the sentiment Grateful for You, which really you could use any time of the year, anytime you're feeling grateful. So the card we're making was created by Debbie Henderson and posted on Patty Bennett's website, pattystamps.com. So if you want to see more of their ideas, then head on over to pattystamps.com. She's got lots and lots of good ideas. The card base is made with crushed curry, cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 down the middle. And we're going to be using 3 colors of ink: Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, and Tangerine Tango. In addition to those 3 inks, we'll also be using just a 6-inch piece of the Venetian crochet trim. It's really pretty, kind of a very vanilla color to this trim. So I have cut a piece of crushed curry at 4 by 5 1/4. And now, by the magic of not doing my taping right, I can show you how far I got on this card. Okay, so on this base of crushed curry, I have adhered a piece of Whisper White that is cut to 3 3/4 by 5. And then on top of the Whisper White, I adhered a piece of Designer Series paper that this is no longer available, but you could use any Designer Series paper you have, or you could go online to my Stampin'Up store and see the new fall offering. I think it's called Into the Woods. It's really pretty paper. But I wanted my card to look, as close to exactly like the one from that Patty posted as I could get. So this is cut at 2 inches by 3 3/4 and adhered using snail adhesive. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is take my 6-inch piece of Venetian lace trim, and I already have some adhesive on the back, so I'm just going to adhere that trim right along the top of this piece of Designer Series paper. And then where I stuck it across the back, that's going to be the weak spot. So I'm going to put some adhesive on top of that, get it good and sticky. Oops. And then adhere that to the card, leaving the same 1/8 inch border all the way around. Oh, look what I did. It was sticking to my finger and I didn't notice. Okay, well, if it sticks to my finger, it should stick to the card, right? There we go. So that's the basic foundation of this card. And now we're ready to start stamping. Alright, we're going to use a piece of Whisper White cardstock. You just need a piece big enough to stamp this wreath image on. And we're going to start with our lightest shade, which is the crushed curry. And these stamps have a little tab at the top that helps you keep your all of your layers lined up, and it also will help in cutting it out because we're going to be using the dies from the set Wonderful Wreath. We're going to be using the two wreath dies and the bow. So let's go ahead and ink this up with crushed curry. And these photopolymer stamps are so nice because you can tell when they're inked up and when they're not. So that looks pretty good. And I'm going to keep my tab going straight up. Leave it there for a second, let the ink soak in, and then pull it off. Alright, now you can see that I'm using a larger stamping block. This is size E. And if you have Stampin'Up blocks, I don't know if you can see it, I think right here, they're all labeled. On one of the sides will have what size block that is. So this is a size E. And I need it for these first two layers of this wreath. So now I'm going to put the next layer on, which is the scattered leaves, and keep my little guide here pointing straight up. And this is going to be done in Tangerine Tango. Okay, get that and line it up, straight up. Right there. And then the final layer, I'm doing the berries in Cajun Craze. And I'm using a size D block for this, but you can see the tabs pointing straight up there too. It just helps you keep everything lined up so that you can get the best image possible. And it also helps in cutting it out. Alright, so there's my wreath. Now, I have one more thing I need to, two things I need to stamp in Cajun Craze. One is the bow, and I'm going to stamp the bow using Cajun Craze ink on Cajun Craze paper. And I'm going to follow my better safe than sorry policy and do two of them. Okay. Whoops, one more. I need to stamp Hello Fall. And this is going to be cut in a banner, so I'm going to stamp it on the long side of this piece of paper. There we go. Hello Fall. Alright, so I believe our stamping is done. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to take this over to the Big Shot and cut out the wreath and the bow, and I'll be right back. The stamping is finished and the cutting is finished, so here's the wreath that I have punched out on the Big Shot, and here's the bow. And then with this greeting, I used my Stampin' Trimmer to create equal borders up and down and equal distance so that the image is centered in this piece of Whisper White. And now I'm going to use my square punch to turn the corners into a banner. Just stick it in and punch it. So the overall length of this piece of Whisper White was 4¼ Okay, and I'm going to want to give it some bit of a curl so that the ends curl down like that and the center bulges up. Okay, this is going to be adhered to the card using glue dots. I'm going to put a glue dot at each end, kind of about 1/8 of an inch from where the notch is. There we go. Alright, and the wreath is adhered using dimensionals. And I think I like it. Like it matters, but I think I like it this way. Okay, and then I'm going to adhere the bow with a glue dot. Stick that on right here. And then the banner goes just like this, diagonally across the banner, or the wreath. Okay, so there you have the card. Isn't that cute? That's from Patty Bennett at pattystamps.com. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll give this technique a try.